In 2023, Aston Martin plans to narrow the gap between themselves and the top teams by taking a more aggressive approach to developing their race cars. The British team has huge plans for the 2023 season. What are these plans, and what changes will they make to their race for the 2023 season? Stay tuned to find out. The newly implemented ground effect regulations for 2022 caused the Aston Martin team to take a significant step backwards in terms of performance at the beginning of the season. However, steady development throughout the year allowed Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll to become regular points finishers by the conclusion of the championship. They finished 7th in the championship, and the momentum was such by Abu Dhabi that their car became a challenger to the likes of the McLaren and the Alpine, who finished in 4th and 5th respectively, and was clearly quicker than Alfa Romeo's C42, even though the Himmel team finished in 6th overall. Aston Martin's performances in the second half of the season took a significant step forward, which coincided with the introduction of Technical Directive 039, which targeted the designs of the car flaws in an effort to reduce porpoising. Aston Martin's performance director Tom McCulloch said that the TD had little effect on Aston Martin's performance. During the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix weekend, Tom McCulloch said, "I think for us, the TD maybe affected some of the other teams, but that didn't really have an impact on our operating the car. We actually brought quite large floor upgrades to several events. Obviously, Singapore was the final one, but we had one in Paul Ricard as well as Silverstone. Actually, some of our updates, the ones that look physically smaller, have actually produced the most performance as well. So for us, it's just been about, right, we're here, how do we just keep developing on this car?" McCulloch went on to explain that the development of the AMR22 resulted in a strong correlation between simulated wind tunnel findings and the reality once the developed parts were fitted to the car. Particularly important as the F1 budget cap tightened its grip following its introduction in 2021. He said, "The bits that we've brought from the wind tunnel to the track have actually largely all done what they should have been doing, which was just all the time giving us a bit more performance, but also a bit wider operating window on the car. Ultimately, the cost cap is quite a key thing there. The 2023 car we have in a wind tunnel at the moment is very different to the one we've got now." When pressed for additional details about the team's experiences and whether there would be big changes to the team's design idea for the following season, McCulloch laughed and responded, "I can't tell you that." He continued, "There are some philosophies that are still the same, some that are different. So overall, we're hoping to have a faster car. Without the cost cap, you'd have seen more of those updates during the year. We're still running around on the launch nose and front wing philosophy largely. A lot of that would normally have changed during a normal year, but you just can't afford to do that on such big expensive parts under the budget cap." You're enjoying this video, right? You definitely don't want to miss out on other amazing videos. So all you have to do is hit the subscription button. It's that easy. Thanks for doing that. Let's move on. Despite the fact the car's appearance will not be drastically altered due to the regulations, Aston Martin's technical director Dan Fallows has confirmed that there will be significant differences. The new model is the first to be developed under the leadership of former Red Bull employee Fallows, who began working at the Silverstone outfit in April, and head of aerodynamics Eric Blandon, who most recently worked for Mercedes. Together, they are responsible for the development of the new model. This year's AMR22 was developed significantly during the course of the season, and it was designed to accommodate the possibility of a change of concept. According to Fallows, the car that will be released the following year will represent a further step. When questioned if there would be a noticeable difference in appearance, Fallows responded, "I mean, there is a limit to what we can do with the current rules. I know that new cars always have to pass my children's tests, so if I put them in front of my children and they say they look different, then they look different. They always say they all look the same, Daddy, but within the envelope of the rules that we have, then yes, there are significant differences on the AMR23. Because the FIA made modifications to the floor in an effort to reduce porpoising and bouncing, all the teams had to make more extensive modifications than they would have otherwise anticipated." Fallows continued, "The new floor regulations are not an enormous change in reality, but they have had a reasonable dent in terms of the downforce the cars are able to produce. So we've had to try and overcome that deficit, as everyone else will do. I think it's difficult to say whether some teams will be more affected than others, but certainly for us, it was a reasonably significant downforce hit. But we're obviously hoping for what the FIA is hoping for as well. It will help with everybody's aerodynamic oscillations, which we're obviously very keen to get rid of." Fallows admitted that Aston's rise in form in the latter part of the year, which saw them jump from 9th to 7th in the World Championship, indicated that the team was making progress in the right way with its development. He said, "It's been a big factor in building the confidence for next year. We've clearly started the year with a car that wasn't where we wanted it to be, and we have shown that development. I think particularly in the second half of the season, we've really demonstrated that these kinds of design principles that we put in place and the philosophies we're adopting are paying off, and they're going to pay dividends." So what we're trying to do for next year is take a very aggressive development strategy, but build on the lessons from this year. One design feature that will not carry over is the unique end plate concept introduced at the Hungarian Grand Prix. In spite of the fact that doing so was not in violation of any regulations, the FIA has decided that doing so is contrary to the objective of the regulations. Because of the FIA's concerns regarding the effect such designs have on the car's wake, such designs will not be allowed in the upcoming season. Next year will be key for Aston Martin, as the team will move into its new facility at Silverstone, close to the location it is now operating out of. In May 2023, it is expected that the group will relocate into the primary building, which is home to the design office as well as the manufacturing and other essential departments. But the company's brand new state-of-the-art wind tunnel won't be finished until 2024. Aston Martin is trying to rebound after a disastrous 2022 campaign, during which its AMR22 could not meet the ambitious goals that were set for it. The most significant victory for Aston Martin occurred in the summer when the automaker made public the news that it had recruited Fernando Alonso to take the position of the departing Sebastian Vettel in 2023. The Spaniard will race alongside Lance Stroll. Following the announcement made by Aston Martin's owner Lawrence Stroll last year that the company would aim to win championships in 2025 and 2026, the emphasis is now on Fallows and his staff to deliver. On the other hand, Fallows feels a degree of realism is in order, as he said, "We are incredibly ambitious about shortening the timescales to get to where we want to be." But there's a big difference between becoming the leading midfield team and seriously challenging for race wins and championships. It's something that's going to take years rather than months to achieve. So we have to be realistic about expectations for the next couple of years. We all know what we need to do to get to the front, but it will take time. There are so many pieces of the puzzle to put in place. A big part of it's learning from your mistakes. We have to find our own way as a team. We have to find the Aston Martin way of winning Grand Prix. As the team breaks into the midfield and strives to finish higher on the standings, it will take some time before they are able to compete with Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes. The team boss, Mike Crack, indicated that for the time being, they are focusing on achieving their immediate goals. Mike Crack said, "For now, we are setting ourselves immediate targets. We finished 7th last season. That should be better next year. We have to take a step. I think it would be rude to say that we want to participate at the very front next year. That is too ambitious and unrealistic, but we do want to take that significant step. I also think that with the steps we have already taken so far, and with the recruitment of Fernando Alonso, we can make that happen." But what would he see as a significant step after finishing P7 in the championship for the last 2 years? Crack explained, "We've seen a battle for 4th place in the World Championship this year between Alpine and McLaren. If we can get involved in that battle, it would be such a step." On February 13th, 2023, Aston Martin will have a live event on their campus where they will unveil their brand new AMR23 F1 Challenger. The unveiling will take place in front of a limited but carefully chosen crowd and will also be aired across all of its digital outlets. Would Aston Martin see a significant change in performance in 2023? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.